Welcome to Forensic Friday.
where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Okay, are you ready?
Yes,
I don't even have an outline for you, but I think it's going to be okay because I have good questions.
it's great.
So we're
Yeah.
good.
Can we also just say really quickly
Yeah.
that I testified today?
Nat testified today like a badass.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully like a badass.
I mean, it's terrifying, genuinely,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but I'm real proud.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I feel like sometimes the rules of it shift. Like, we were just on the phone with our friend,
Mhm.
and I'm like, well, they said they couldn't do this one thing. And she's
It's
like,
like
no,
security at the airport. They can't decide. Are we
right. They're
doing
like,
this or that? Computer in
right.
or out? Nobody knows. And you're an idiot if you don't know. This is
I
what,
know. Literally. And she was like, no, they can't do that. And also,
yeah.
you are allowed to do this during testimony. And I'm like,
Yes.
I felt like an idiot, but it's fine.
Ugh. Well, and you have to know when you testify. You know this, I know, and I do too.
Hmm.
The whole opposing counsel's job is to make you look dumb.
Yeah.
And so I've seen some cases, even of like my friends,
Hmm.
where I've sat in with them and I'm like, oh, good Lord, this is so sad. Like unlicensed therapists who go in there and try to make a decision about parenting time. And I'm like,
Oh, no.
honey, you're just trying to lose your license out here. That's what you're trying to do. Like,
Right.
but you learn every time. Every time you do it, you learn. And I try really hard not to work with butthead attorneys, like as much as possible, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of great attorneys out there. And then there's some that are just miserable. And, you never know what you're going to get, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Good work, Boo. Look at you, boss lady. We're a couple of boss
Yeah.
ladies. And we're
Boss
to
lady.
have our biggest month ever on the podcast, ever. Most downloads, most engagement. You guys have been amazing. Um, it's been fun, man.
Yeah. We're having a blast over here.
We really are. We're doing a lot of things right now, but I'm enjoying most of them. And we have momentum, I think, as we're kind of setting up for the next phase of our careers, which is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
It is good.
So I have a case for you all.
Okay.
And Nat doesn't have notes on this one because I was
Oh,
working on it behind the scenes. But I think it's gonna be okay because mostly I'm just gonna have you weigh in on some stuff.
mm-hmm.
So do you know
Perfect.
who this is not the case, but it's an interesting parallel. Do you know who Jen Hamilton is?
Mm-mm.
Hysterical labor and delivery nurse, 37-year-old
Okay.
labor and delivery nurse.
Okay.
She has like 6.7 million followers across
Wow.
platforms. She is absolutely hysterical, loves her chickens and her patients. She will
Mm-hmm.
literally swaddle a chicken. It's hilarious.
That's so
She is the labor and delivery nurse you want,
okay.
honestly. And
Okay.
we've talked about how much we love them. My labor and I can still see her face. She's a literal angel to me.
Oh, I
I love her.
loved mine.
Oh,
I was literally like, can we be best friends? I
oh.
loved her so much. And she came and saw me after I had the baby. She came and found me.
Mm.
I
After my
should find her.
after my hysterectomy, they wheeled me up to the labor and delivery unit because that's where they've been taking people at hysterectomies because quote they have more people having hysterectomies now than having babies, which is
Oh my
nuts.
God.
But they brought me in there and I'm like, "Oh yes. Yes, this is where I want to be. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be among the labor and delivery nurses. This is
Mm-hmm.
great." And they were
Mm-hmm.
just as fabulous to me post hysterectomy as they were when I had a baby. It was magical.
Love that.
So here's what happened to Miss Jen Hamilton, and
Okay.
this relates to the case. So on June 13th of this year,
Mm-hmm.
she posted a tearful video saying that her heart is shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the most upbeat, plucky, funny, empowered. I mean, she's not dolled up in makeup all the time. She's not she laughs about her butt. Like she's just a chill human being and a very positive creator, okay? In my experience. I don't know all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But she posts this thing and then almost immediately deletes it. June 15th, she walks it back publicly and she says, the situation is complex. We both are hurting broken people, and I love him so much. Please send love and healing vibes his way, but do not reach out or talk bad about him. It's
Mm.
my fault for bringing it here. I was just hurting and looking for comfort. So much regret.
Oh no.
In the deleted clip, she had said, please don't try to reach out to anybody on my behalf. That would make everything so much worse for me.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then, June 29th, she takes a step back from nursing. And she says, my patients do not deserve the mental state that I would bring to the bedside right now. There's so much happening that is complicated, and I wish I could share, but I cannot.
Mm.
July 21st, she announces she joined a support group. July 26th, she posts the full account. I don't care anymore.
Mm.
I'm done being people's PR manager. She says her husband of nearly 15 years had a double life, that she'd been the only one working. And then, well, while she was at the hospital taking care of people, he found the time to have a whole other life.
Mm.
And she said her reason for going public was secrets and hiding are what I believe made all of this possible. So the way I'm dealing with it is by not having secrets. And if you don't want me to talk about this stuff, maybe don't do it. My heart, like me and people who love her, which is, millions of us, we're
Mm-hmm.
on the edge of our seats getting these updates because I genuinely like who she presents herself to be.
Mm-hmm.
She's relatively unproblematic, you
Mm.
know. This went completely viral because the crying one made people so upset. And
Mm.
then all this deleting, and she's trying to make everything okay. And she probably got threatened with legal action, whatever. And then she comes flying out. The other thing that came out was that the woman that her husband had this other life with
Mm-hmm.
is way older than her, like in her 50s.
What?
I think she's 21 years older than Jennifer Hamilton.
That's wild.
So then people are like, he fumbled Jennifer Hamilton. Men were weighing in. I mean, it was a whole thing.
Dang.
Whole thing. So then she's like, you know what? We are going to help other women. So then
Mm-hmm.
she did a big donation thing for women who are in difficult divorces trying to get out of bad situations,
Mm.
right? So at the same time, there's another situation unfolding that is somewhat similar from an influencer with slightly less reach but had followers, as did her partner. On June 20th, 2026, 5 days before Jen Hamilton apologized for speaking, Sarah Gilson, she posted, thank you for the army. Your thoughts, prayers, and gift cards have meant more than you know. While I'm grieving and trying to process the worst thing imaginable, I'm solely focused on my children and their well-being. Their safety and mental health is my only concern at this time. We are not okay, and I'm not sure I'll ever be the same. But God has been so faithful in this process, and I feel his presence in everything I do. So that's Sarah Gilson posted that on June 20th. So
Mm-hmm.
she and her husband both had a bit of a viral presence
Mm-hmm.
online. And
Mm-hmm.
there's pressure on these creators that especially if their partners have been in, like for Jennifer Hamilton or Jen Hamilton, her husband had been in a lot of her content. So if he just
Right.
disappears, everyone's going to know. So it's a public
Right.
thing. This was true
Right.
of this also. On July 11th, 15 days before Jen Hamilton said, I don't care anymore, Sarah Gilson said her version of it.
Mm-hmm.
She sat down in a chair in front of a neutral background in a Netflix documentary trend and put text on the screen. So did you see the trend, the Netflix preparing for when Netflix drops a documentary
Oh
about
yeah.
something about their life? Okay. So she was doing that trend.
Okay.
The text on the screen said, preparing for when Netflix drops a documentary about my soon to be ex-husband, who I just found out is a pedophile.
Oh, I did see that.
Yep. And the caption was, I wish I was joking. Hashtag plot twist, hashtag Netflix, hashtag documentary. 12 days later, he shot her in the head in her own home while her son ran to the neighbor's store.
Mm.
Two women, same summer, same platform, same decision, both of them done keeping his secret. One of them is healing in public right now and helping thousands of women do the same. The other one is dead. The difference between them was not judgment or wisdom or how carefully they worded all of this. The difference was whether there was a man on the other end of it who would kill them. And here's the part that should keep us all up at night. Sara Gilson knew there was a possibility that he would kill her. She told a judge 6 weeks earlier. She said he had a gun. She said he'd threatened to kill himself. And you know, you and I always say, Nat, suicidal can be homicidal and intimate partner violence. So we treat it very seriously, right?
100%.
She said she didn't know where he was.
Mm.
And the state of Oklahoma said he has to stay 100 yards away from you. So when she finally spoke, she was speaking into the silence where protection was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in 2021, Sara Gilson, so you go back years, asked the courts to hold her husband and they did not. So in 2021, she tried really hard to protect herself even then when something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because the courts blew that off, right? And she even took the stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had to stay. And this happens sometimes. And you know, now I was working with someone today, literally today, who left a violent situation a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
just a few days ago. And she's terrified but resolved and has a temporary protection order and court to try to make it permanent next week.
Mm-hmm.
It is so scary. And her kid is named in the protection order. That's all up for grabs in a week. He has a history of domestic violence conviction, history of DUIs and other related charges.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's riding on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so nervous for her, you know? So because she didn't get that external protection, staying and that proximity as protection thing kicked in. And
Mm-hmm.
so she really focused on kind of de-escalation, right? And all of that. So then in 2026, when she got the protection order, there was a screwy thing that happened with the jurisdiction handoff. So there were no charges, no firearm removal, and he was at large for 44 days, even though he was facing some charges, which I'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
Right? The disclosure that ends the secrecy in domestic violence can trigger lethal retaliation. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the victim's problem to solve that alone. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're at home and you're thinking, why did she post? My God, you know, if she was so scared, why would she post something like that? Why didn't she leave sooner? Like all of that.
Sure.
This is actually a victim that was using a lot of resources to try to
Mm-hmm.
protect herself.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous protection order petitions were dismissed because she didn't appear at the hearing.
That's so insane.
Yep. So I was talking to my client today and I said, well, you know, are you going to bring anybody with you? What's your plan? You know, can you appear virtually? And she said, I don't think it'll be as believable. I don't know that they'll listen to me unless I present the evidence in person.
Mhm.
And she goes, but then I think I'll have someone walk me out after. I'm like, yeah, sister, please, you know?
Mhm.
So here's kind of the pedophile situation.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, her ex, I guess I'll get into all of that, but this man that she was trying to leave,
Mhm.
right? And his name is Sean Duffy. He
Mhm.
also was a creator, right? When Sarah and Sean were apart, okay, so there were a few exits and returns. And we know that women, how many times do they typically go back before they leave for good? Seven.
Oh, 7, yeah.
Seven.
Is Sean Duffy, uh, was he with NASA?
I don't know. I just know he was a creator. You can find him on TikTok. He had a pretty decent following.
Hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was with NASA. I'll see if more comes
Older
in.
gen like a silver fox type of gentleman.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, maybe I'm looking at the wrong Sean Duffy.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't have a honestly, like I have a little bit on his background, but I'm mostly focusing on how to keep people safe, you know? So, one of the things that can happen in the court system, and this happened to one of my best friends, literally the opposing counsel in that case said, well, if she was so worried, why didn't she call the police? And I'm like, okay,
Right.
asshat. Like, there's 1 million reasons why people don't call the police,
Right.
right? And it's interesting because Sean Duffy's ex-wife, Stephanie Ramsey, they'd been together for like 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
almost 20 years. They went back and forth whenever he was on a break from Sarah. So when I look at her case now, I see protective staying. I see that
Right.
maybe she stayed because it felt safer in some ways,
Right.
right? Okay, so here's what he was in trouble for and why there were two protection orders filed the same day
Okay.
on this dude. So, on June 9th, right? It finally came out that he had basically molested a 15-year-old girl
Mm.
on a team that he coached.
Oh gosh.
Mm-hmm. And they were out of town at a tournament. And so he was a little inappropriate, like at a practice, had proximity to these teenagers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he continued this behavior in a room in a
Mm-hmm.
hotel. So that mom filed a protection order the same day Sarah did. So when this came out, she's like, absolutely not, as was the mom of the kid, right? So on June 10th, they were granted. They granted both protection orders. He was ordered to stay out of the home 100 yards at all times. June 23rd, she appeared in court again, and the order was extended through August 24th. 30 days after her first appearance in court, or her second appearance, 30 days after her second appearance in court, he killed her.
Wild.
So if she doesn't go to court, they dismiss the protection order. She does go to court, they fumble the ball in containing him, which we talk about containment, right? Can you tell them what containment means?
Essentially keeping them. So for example, for us, sometimes we'll keep a client in treatment to give them basically something to do until we figure out what's next. And we do that for containment. And so in a court proceeding, it would look like maybe jail or a continued protection order to contain him.
And one of the frustrations that we have at times is we have standards that drive our practice. And sometimes the standards say we can and maybe even should terminate. Probation knows that they're maybe not going to be able to get containment on their end. And so there's a discussion between us, treatment victim advocate, and probation about how do we contain this person, keep eyes on him, right? And I'm saying him a little bit intentionally because, yes, women can be violent and we have female offender groups. Men are much more likely to kill their partners. And so this containment piece happens quite a bit more often with our male clients. It just does.
Yeah.
You know? So the reason that he was out of custody, okay, so on June 9th, he was caught mid-assault when he was doing this by another adult who intervened and reported the same night. So when he got caught, it was handled fast. And I don't know who this adult was, but bless him for intervening. He got caught in the act on this teenager.
Okay, on the teenager. Got it.
Yeah. And the thing that I could just kiss whoever this person was, this other adult who was like, absolutely not, reported it the same night. And Duffy fled, like the chicken shit he is, fled before officers arrived. So the police department tried to follow him. They tracked him to one city, then another. They found him twice, but no warrant existed yet, so they couldn't arrest him. So they were on his ass the day that this all happened, and he was caught, but they couldn't arrest him. So the issue was that Duffy was an Osage Nation citizen, and the offense occurred in Indian country. It is considered a major crime under the Federal Major Crimes Act. So it got referred to the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. But that meant that OPD, the police department in this area, didn't have jurisdiction. The FBI confirmed agents were gathering evidence, but noted that federal investigations run long because of the evidence volume required before charging. So it takes longer to formally charge folks in this situation. No charges were filed as of July 23rd, which is 44 days after someone witnessed
That's wild.
on a child.
That is wild.
So if this had happened anywhere else with any other human, right, who was not a member of this community and all that stuff, they would have been arrested immediately.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
No, he's still running around. Running around after being caught in the act with a teenager and after being tracked down twice by police.
That's insane.
Right? So this is not really about the tribal jurisdiction loophole thing. That's not really what this is. The issue is that the handoff between jurisdictions
Mhm.
increases risk because of the length of time it takes. So it's not a tribal issue, it's a sometimes county to county, and we've seen this. I literally have seen people offend in multiple counties, at the same time, and it takes time for it to move around the system.
Mhm.
Even I've experienced that. This is just kind of an extreme version of that.
Right.
So she had told the court, remember, that he had a gun and threatened suicide. In Colorado, you can have an extreme risk protection order where they take firearms, all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
They did not take his guns.
that's crazy.
What do you think about that?
I mean, this is when the system fails,
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly when the system failed. I mean,
Yep.
it's a really big fail. This is pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. So 6 weeks from when he assaulted a child until he killed her, the only person tracking him super closely is the woman that he would ultimately kill.
Nuts.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
no.
horrible?
Yeah.
And so police, great, thank you, sir. Police confirmed he violated the order the night of the shooting. No shit. Which was the whole problem with the instrument. Violation is something that you establish afterwards when it's a homicide.
Yeah.
She literally filed her own lethality assessment. So, we've gone to trainings on lethality assessment. The Sandy Campanella is an absolute genius in this regard.
Yeah.
She filed her own lethality assessment herself. Recent separation, yes. Threatened suicide, yes. Firearm access, yes. Perpetrator whereabouts unknown, yes. Recent separation, right? Yes. Prior protection order petitions, yes. Documented long-term threat pattern, yes. Escalating legal and reputational jeopardy, yes. Sexual
Mm.
offense against a child, yes. Stepchildren in the home, yes. So one of the things that we know, and this lives in the kind of the psychopathy realm too, but
Mhm.
men are much more likely. They will do family annihilation and kill their own children,
Mm.
but they are especially resentful of stepchildren.
Mm. Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah,
the
that makes sense.
stepson being in the home is
Mhm.
relevant and was mentioned in her petition.
Mhm.
So that is so frustrating. I can't imagine how the victim advocates must feel who were closer into this situation, because this is heartbreaking
Right.
that she literally, with the accuracy of a clinician, went in there and said, these are the things, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that is really interesting is prior withdrawn petitions is a documented risk factor.
Mhm.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, well, she's scared of him.
She's scared of him.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't understand what you were
No,
saying.
no, no, no. You're
My
good.
head is still in attorney mode. I'm like, wait a minute.
You're like, wait a minute, I gotta make sure I
What's
know
the
what
question? I gotta get this right.
good God, I
Okay, yeah.
care.
Yeah, because she's scared of him. Yeah.
Nervous system's been through a lot today, Matt. A lot. So what do we tell guys? There's not a perfect answer here. You and I say different versions of the same thing. What do we tell our guys when they say, she wrote a letter to the judge saying it didn't happen? Like, she's upset that I got in trouble. She's blah, blah, blah. What do we tell them?
I say, of course she did. Because
Mhm.
if she doesn't, then she's in more trouble.
Yes. And they say what?
No.
Yeah, they pull a Grace. Ugh.
Uh,
Ugh.
that's not true.
That's
It
not
didn't
true.
happen.
That's not when we're like, here's the thing. Lots of victims recant. That makes me
Yes.
more nervous, not less.
Yes.
Right? So the biggest thing that I want to say about this is she didn't die because she posted. That's not the
Right.
thing here. She
Right.
died because a man decided to kill her and nobody stopped him. That's why she's dead. She's not dead because she made that post. We could
No.
debate for 100 years about the dangers of posting things like that and the potential reputational harm if it's not true and all that kind of stuff. But in this case, and in life every day, we are responsible for our choices.
Mm-hmm.
We just are,
Mm-hmm.
and this man needs to be responsible for everything that he did, and he ultimately killed himself. So it's a horrific situation. And she's just such a beautiful, lovely person. And so when she did this sit down, of course, a lot of people reacted to it because she's a bit of an influencer, and it is shocking, just like it was shocking for Jen Hamilton, who's so upbeat and lovely, to be crying and, talking about her husband that way,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing that has happened that's really interesting that I want to ask you about. When we make disclosures online, this includes podcasts, anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even what we've shared is allegedly. He didn't stand trial, right? We don't have definitive evidence of all of this that's held up in court yet. But he also killed himself, so we don't know. We know for certain he's a murderer. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that,
It
right?
drives me nuts.
I
I
know.
mean, I know it's a murder-suicide that happens frequently in DV when they're
Yes.
like, let's talk about when there's suicidal ideation, there's homicidal, and when there's homicidal ideation, there's suicidal ideation.
Mhm.
So I know all that, but it literally just drives me crazy because I'm like, and I'm sorry that this is going to sound not compassionate, but it's like the chicken shit way out when you've done something so horrendous.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
face it. At least face it and then die.
Yes. Yeah, I know. They don't always love that though now.
No, accountability is super painful for these guys. So,
It is. It is for all of us.
yeah. But especially,
Accountability is not fun, but these guys are like, nope,
yeah. I'd rather, well, it's like the Gabby Petito case.
Mhm.
You know, like
Oh yeah.
it's just like,
Gabby Petito, the case that I just did a little bit ago about the man killed himself in prison before he was
yeah.
formally right or even arraigned.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting when you think about these cases because her coming out, there are other people, other women coming out who had interactions with him, including his ex-wife. And one of her last conversations, Sarah's last conversations, was with Sean Duffy's ex-wife about him.
Mm.
So this is like the one that we did, where all the women linked up together to take the guy out
Mm-hmm.
legally. They didn't kill him, but took him out. And thank God her boyfriend was over that one night. But there were 3 victims who all worked together.
Yeah.
Um, this is what was happening in the comment section a bit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
They were putting this investigation together before.
Mm.
So everyone watching Jen Hamilton say, I don't care anymore. I don't have to be anyone's PR manager. A part of me loves this because the idea of borrowed shame. Do you remember that training? That was so powerful. It was a training years and years ago. It might have been before you worked at our last place, but it was an incredible training. And it was all about shame and aggression.
I don't remember.
Oh, it was cool. It was about shame and aggression, and it talked about how we have this concept of borrowed shame. And I have an anecdote about it in the book, actually,
Yeah.
about how sometimes you have to take that shame and hand it back to the person who gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, Jen Hamilton's like, yeah, no, I'm not vouching for you, bro. Like, here it is. You're with an old lady. She's a grandma
Yeah.
in her 50s. Jen Hamilton is like 37, I think. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But for those of you who would say, well, because Sarah came out, that contributed to her death, most IPV victims are silent.
Mm-hmm.
Most IPV homicide victims never went viral about anything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Jen Hamilton's case has reputational risk, financial, legal real risk, but it's not lethal
Right.
because this man who had a second life, to my knowledge, hasn't engaged in intimate partner violence in a way that she's afraid to share this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's just interesting. What do you think when you look at those two cases together? When you look at Jen Hamilton putting the thing out, pulling the thing back,
Mm.
this is a high risk thing too. I mean, she's
Oh yeah.
his business, right?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's displaying obviously that there's chaos and something really, really intense happening,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's scary.
It's scary. And one of my takeaways from a heart perspective is like digital disclosure. And
Mm-hmm.
I talk about this in the book. Digital disclosure, like if we're going to put stuff out there, it needs to be a safety planning topic.
Yeah.
So I literally say in the book not to disparage if possible. And I want to be clear that Sara, it is not her fault this happened. I don't blame her one bit. She felt like she needed to come out and say the thing. And she
Mm-hmm.
may have felt that that was protective, that if people knew, then they might be more likely to act in the case. I mean, there's a million reasons, right? But in the book, I kind of make a point about like, even from a lawsuit perspective, they will just come for you. Like, that's what these people do, And there's a case we did a while back, and that offender is suing her, and she's trying to figure that out. And it's just
Oh, I know
so
what you're
sad.
talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is if we had a listener, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
right, who is in a position like this where they found out something really troubling and they're just on fire about it. Jen Hamilton, on fire. This was her husband, did not see it coming. He wants a divorce all of a sudden, and then she's finding this stuff out. And you just feel like you can't breathe. It's so overwhelming,
Right.
right? And they're just living. They're just bebopping along doing their thing, and you're living with this disgusting, horrible secret.
Mm-hmm.
What can those folks do? What do they need, maybe? What are some ways to find out what they need?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, it's tough. I think support systems are huge.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say, you and I talked well, this was our interview with Grace.
Mm-hmm.
You
Very
know,
much so.
um,
Yeah, the Why She Stayed podcast.
yeah. Why she stayed. Community and support systems are huge. However, I think support systems don't always know how to address the thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of, so I say that, sorry, my brain. I say that because, having a support system who's willing to listen to you and not tell you exactly what to do in the moment is really important.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Makes total sense.
And then I want to be mindful of how I say this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also have other people who listen that aren't necessarily always the survivors,
Also true. Mm-hmm.
But I'll say there are resources out there.
Mm.
And if you're curious, phone a friend. You can DM us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there are resources.
Yes. Yes, there are resources.
What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think it blurs with social media because I think from a parasocial perspective,
Yes.
we feel really connected to people, and we are. Like, you and I have met people who follow the podcast and we communicate with them, and they're like buds. Now, we've met a lot of them. Some of them we have not, but it is real people connecting with each other. And even Sara Duffy, publicly, she was Sara Gilson. Obviously, Duffy was her name at the time of her death, like legal name. She had tens of thousands of followers. She was a hairstylist. She sold clothing and jewelry, like small business. She was not a celebrity. So she was a bit of an influencer, but not a celebrity.
And you said he had a following too, right?
He had a following too. So she was literally accepting gift cards to help feed her kids while her armed, suicidal, absconded husband was unaccounted for.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously, that's a support system for her,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Her followers.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, her being an influencer, her reaching out to her followers, her like utilizing that platform as her support system,
Mm-hmm.
um, impacted what he did because it was now in the very open.
Yes. I don't think it helped in
Okay.
terms of safety,
Mm-hmm.
except that I do think she probably got some support too.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jen Hamilton's sharing her thing. Now she has 6.7 million followers. Financially, that looks a lot different. Probably can afford a little bit more security and some of those kinds of things. And again, there's absolutely no allegations that Jen Hamilton's husband is anything other than a cheating asshole. That's the allegation, not that he's violent, which is an important distinction.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court-ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy. That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one-stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court-ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court-ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started.
Well, and that
But
he's not a pedophile, right?
oh yeah, not a pedophile,
Right.
none of that.
Right.
But she used that social media momentum to help women in situations like Sara, which is just so the social media stuff just is, and I'm seeing it more and more. Therapists building their practices have to sort of be out there a little bit because people are looking, and we're getting more engaged in this, not less, as a society. So
Mhm.
I don't think we can ignore that those relationships and those feelings are real to a degree.
Mhm.
So yes, I think it contributed just from the sheer optics of it that Sean Duffy was called out publicly for something that, I mean, he literally had retained counsel but did not respond to his followers at all. I don't know if Jen Hamilton's husband has. I haven't looked that up.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, his counsel probably told him not to respond.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, well, I'm sure. I am sure. And he
Yeah.
probably would have prepped some kind of retaliation legally, which is another concern,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Stephanie Ramsey, Sean Duffy's 20-year wife, said clearly that he threatened her throughout their marriage. His adult daughters cut contact in June.
Sean Duffy looks like a total
Mm-hmm.
like not in a good way, like total bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I don't want to say the word that I'm thinking, but
Oh, 100%. Right? So
yeah,
again,
he looks like he could be capable of some crazy stuff.
oh
There,
yeah,
there.
totally.
That's a better way to say what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, and again, like here we are with two men that we cannot formally comment on except what's been shared. So
Yeah.
what we can say is Sarah Gilson shared what she shared, and it is in major media. Brian Hamilton has not issued a public statement, but Jen Hamilton has,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I don't think that she's necessarily at risk. I think that if she has the kind of people I think are around her and they're not having an issue with her posting, she knows things. Like it's not slander if it's true,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I feel like Jen Hamilton in some ways is the good outcome
Mm-hmm.
of someone using their platform. And here's Sarah who tried to use it for a similar reason, really. Partially cathartic, but partially to try to figure things out. There were victims in the comments, or at least people who'd been knew of him, maybe had been mistreated by him. They were both kind of using it in a similar way, just one by Sarah's own
Mm-hmm.
identification had a high risk to kill her, and he did. So I hope Jen Hamilton keeps talking as long as she could do so safely. I'm like, girl, go get him. This is nuts. And it's so wrong what happened,
Yeah.
right? Assuming that's what happened, which we can't know for sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I guess kind of where I want to land on this is just to say, um, have some resources here because this episode discussed homicide, suicide, and a child witness. So I have some resources. National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-799-7233, or you can text START to 88788. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, call or text 988. Don't make a permanent decision over a temporary solution. Like everything is figure outable to a degree. Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline 1-800-422-4453. I think it's really important that our listeners understand the homicide suicide part. We've said it a few times. If you have a partner who does not emotionally regulate well and they threaten suicide
Mm-hmm.
with or without anger and violence towards you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a part of the relationship and maybe it's cyclical and you don't feel safe or you get kind of this sense, treat it as such. It is highly dangerous and get some good safety planning going with somebody who knows what they're talking about.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
So Jen Hamilton got to say, I don't care anymore. And I hope she says it 100 more times.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you. The platforms freak me out with that stuff. But yes,
mhm.
you know,
The thing I love about it is not necessarily that she called him out on a platform. Because listen, our husbands could get on and say some nonsense about us. I don't believe that they would, but like people can get on and say anything. That's what's wild about it.
sure.
But the sentiment I love. It's the
Mhm.
same as when we talk about like fuck politeness, right? Which thank you
Yeah.
to my favorite murder for that, Jim. But
Yeah.
women are all managing our own safety and the safety of others by making ourselves generally smaller and quieter. That's typically what we do. And if we have the audacity to get bigger and louder, we sometimes get hurt. That's
Mhm.
just the truth. And so I hope that people will, I hope systems will take access to firearms way more seriously still, and we're still working on that.
Mhm.
But if you're in a situation like this, I really, really, really hope that you will hear what we've said and hear the risk inherent in these situations.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's so sad. I wouldn't have, I didn't know, I don't know how to say this. I saw a few posts about this, and I don't know which one was which girl, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is nuts that this happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other thing that's weird about it, the reason it caught my attention for an episode, besides being relatable and important,
Yeah.
is the contrast with Jen Hamilton, who came out
Yeah.
and kind of like, boom, you know, and then I was like,
Like,
oh, you know.
so similar aside from the partner's charges, if you will, or offenses, you know.
And the
Offensive.
lethality assessment to our knowledge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But they were happening at the same time, which I just think is sad and weird and interesting all at the same time.
Yeah. It's like a weird mirrored life.
Yes, 100%.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing this case. Our next case is also something that's trending.
yeah, give them a teaser, Nat. That one's a doozy, it sounds like.
Oh my goodness. Well, it technically happened in 2023, but it's the Clancy case. So Lindsay Clancy and her ex-husband now, Patrick Clancy, and their 3 children, and what happened to their 3 children. And essentially, right now they're going through court to assess what they're gonna do with Lindsay, essentially.
Mm.
So we'll dive into it, and we will give you all of our thoughts because there's a lot of mental health aspects happening in this case.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we will see y'all next week, as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.